Hi, I'm Don Carr, and this is the Electro-Harmonix C9 Organ Machine. The Electro-Harmonix C9 Organ Machine turns your guitar into an organ. How simple is that, right? It's got 9 great sounds on it, including some tone wheel organs, some transistor organs, and even a Mellotron sound. The white knob selects the 9 various organ voices, 1 through 9 here, and as you can see, there is a balance for your dry output, which is your guitar, and the organ, so you can blend those two together if you want. Right now you can see I have the guitar completely out and the organ on only. And you also have a modulation control and a key click control. The modulation simulates a Leslie, and click, of course, adds the key click that is inherent in tone wheel organs. In the non-tone wheel sounds, the mod and key click controls take on other functions, and we'll look at those as we get into it. The C9 comes with its own 9-volt power supply, and as you can see, there's an input and 2 outputs. The way I have it set up is if you're using one output only, you use the organ output. That gives you the blend of the dry and the organ signal. But if you use the dry output and the organ signal together, you can process both sounds differently, so that's pretty cool. Send them to different amps or use different effects with them. I've disengaged the C9 using the handy-dandy buffered bypass switch here, and you can see the light is out. So let's listen to the dry signal unaffected, which is my PRS 513, through a Fender Princeton. And here's the C9 in voice number 1, which is called tone wheel. I'm going to play through a few of these different voices so you can get an idea what this sounds like. You'll also notice that I'm playing with a little more of a keyboard kind of attitude. What I mean by that really is left-hand voice leading. Instead of guitar-type chords, I'm going to play something that would be closer to the way a keyboard player would stack notes on the keyboard, and the same with the attack. Keyboard players tend to attack the notes all at the same time unless there's an intentional roll. Guitar players, of course, strum through normally, so I'm going to attack the strings all at the same time. Voice number 2 is called prog. It's a tone wheel organ as well. But instead of having key click on the click control, what you actually have is control of the sound of the intervals around the main note, which are an octave below and a fifth above. There is also modulation with this, so here it is without modulation. Right, and the intervals are set at 50%, so let's shut them off. All right, so you can see what that's adding. Put a little modulation on it. Play something appropriately proggy. Voice number 3 is called compact. It's actually a transistor organ, and with this, your modulation sound is actually vibrato instead of a Leslie. And for the click sound, you've got control of the upper harmonics. So here it is with the click sound halfway up and the mod down. Add a little mod to it. Voice number 4 is called Shimmer, and it's based on an effect that was made popular by a couple of really famous record producers. Here's what it sounds like. In this sound, mod actually controls the attack time and click controls the sustain time. So with the click all the way up, check this out. You can even hear it through the reverb hanging on a little more. And with mod all the way up, right, it takes a while for the sound to ramp up. So it's a pretty interesting effect. And I think it would be one that would be really good blended in with some dry guitar. So let's turn the organ down, turn the guitar up a little bit. Pretty cool, especially if you had the dry guitar process with a little delay, maybe a little chorus on it too. Voice number 5 is called Lord Purple. I think you can figure out what that's about. It's actually the sound I used in the intro, and I think it sounds really good with distortion. So I'm using a Boss Wazacraft Blues Driver. So here it is with the blues driver on. Pretty huge sounding. The next sound is called mellow flutes, and it's actually the Mellotron sound. And another thing you'll notice about the C9 in general is that all the various sounds, since it's different amounts of harmonics, upper structures, extra voices, whatever, more attack, more sustain, the levels are different on all of them. Like for the last one, for Lord Purple, I had it down a little bit because it was driving the pedal a little too hard. And for mellow flutes, I'm actually going to crank it up. So here's mellow flutes. That's another one I think that would be really good blended with some dry guitar signal. With sound number 7, Blimp, we're back to the tone wheel organ sound. This is an interesting one because the key click actually controls the upper harmonics instead of key click, so you can get a really super mellow organ sound with this. Or you can bring in the upper structure. Voice number 8 is called Press Tone. It's another great tone wheel organ sound, so we'll give that a listen here. And finally, voice number 9 is called Telstar. It's another classic transistor organ sound. You've actually got control of the upper harmonics on the click control again, and then for the modulation, you've got a vibrato. So here's what it sounds like. So there you go, a tour of the C9 organ machine from Electro-Harmonix. For the outro, I'm going to show that this thing actually does track your guitaristic sort of things, you know, like your bends and your slides and all that kind of stuff. I'm actually going to go back to sound number 1, which is tone wheel. It's a basic organ sound. So this is something you can't do on an organ, but you can do with the C9. If you have any questions about this or any other Electro-Harmonix product, please give your Sweetwater sales engineer a call.